Every 3 months they would change them. The ones that are there 3 months, they put them in the gas chamber and then they get the new ones in.
So at the end of 3 months, you go into the gas chamber?
Yeah. The people working there, yes, at the gas chambers.
Would you talk to other people? Would you talk to other people besides your sisters? Was there any sense of community?
No.
Was it just broken spirit?
Broken spirit. And the thing is, we came to Auschwitz, and they were always people. You couldn't become friends with any of the people there because we were only there. We were in Camp C, okay, in Auschwitz-Birkenau. And this was a transitional camp. You come, you get selected, and you leave. The only people that stayed behind is the ones like me, because I was skin and bone, and they wouldn't select me to go to work. I would run out of the gas chamber line and hope nobody sees me. If they would see me, they would shoot me on the spot. They did not want to take people to factories to work that were skin and bone, okay?
So it's just you and your sisters. Everyone else is kind of transient.
Yes.
And there's no feeling of community.
No, none whatsoever.
It's just broken spirits.
Absolutely. You never know who's going to be there tomorrow. We had 30 barracks in this place, okay? One barrack was a kitchen, one barrack was a bathroom. And people were coming in all the time, coming and going, coming and going. And of course, there were so many dead bodies always in our camp. They would commit suicide by touching the electric fences. They just couldn't take it anymore. You touch the fence, 20 seconds later you see blood coming out of the nose and you're dead. And they would come with those big wheelbarrows every day to collect the dead bodies.
You say here, one day I ask a woman why I haven't seen my mother, aunt, my little sisters, and brother. The lady is careful to gently tell me what I think I already know. She sadly affirms that my worst fears are correct. When they got off the train, they were put in a line that led directly to the gas chamber.
I would say 80% of the people that came in on the trains went into the gas chamber. All the mothers, children, the sick, the crippled, the old age. The only people they tried to save were the ones that could go for slave labor, to go to factories to work.
You continue on here. They remind me of how lucky I was to be accepted as being 18 and eligible for the adult factory work line. If the sorters had known I was 14, I would have gone with my mother and aunt and younger siblings straight to the gas chamber. I do not feel lucky in any way right now. I just can't get used to the idea that my mother, 3 sisters, and little brother are gone, and it's beyond comprehension. When Yuki, Hayasara, and I try to talk about it, we cannot speak. We just cry.
Yeah.
We have to keep going, like Tata told us. It will eventually get better, we believe. We need to have hope.
Right.
I have difficulty processing all of this and have to keep asking myself, why? And I think this section right here is one of the most powerful pieces. You say this, one of the ladies hugs me close and says, you will never understand what these Germans are doing because it is beyond comprehension. It does not make sense and it never will. They are crazy, out of their minds. You are not. Remember, you are the sane one here. Go where you need to go inside of yourself and remember who you are. They cannot steal your soul unless you give it to them. Never give them your soul. Follow their rules and survive so that the real you can blossom again when you are free. War is a horrible thing, but it will end. When it does, There is another life for you outside of Auschwitz. And you need to live for that.
That's how we survived, really. By hoping and think things, and know that things will be better someday.
And I guess, the difference between having that attitude of things will get better someday and thinking that they won't, those are the people that are going to go and grab the electric fence.
That's it. They just gave up. They couldn't handle it anymore.
Who was this woman? Do you remember who this woman was that told you this?
I have no idea. Probably somebody much older than me. Remember, I was a 14-year-old. I was a young kid.
Did you believe? It had to be hard looking at these surroundings to believe that that there really could be hope beyond this.
Well, if I did not have hope, I listened to my father. He said, whatever you do, stay alive so you can tell the world what they're doing to us. Okay?
That was your mission.
That was my mission. Actually, it was more my mission than my two older sisters. They would get very angry with me sometime because I would do things that was not the right thing to do in a place like this. Okay?
Well, you would take risks.
Right, absolutely.
You're a little bit of a hard person to subdue.
Actually, even as a child, many times the mother said, you're acting like a boy. You're not acting like a young lady.
Here's another little part about what you guys are eating. The only thing we got for breakfast is black coffee. You need to describe what the black coffee is. The black coffee is not coffee at all.
It's horrible. It was horrible. I took one sip, and that's the only time I ever tried it. I thought I was going to throw up. It was so horrible.
You say we are literally starving.
We are, absolutely.
Lunch is nothing but a piece of bread.
Thin slice of bread with a piece of margarine, yes.
Occasionally, they will give us butter to put on it. The bread is dry and hard, and we are told they put sawdust in it. We line up outdoors to get our bread at a table staffed by the kitchen women. We do not share our bread. It is coveted and sometimes hidden away for later. The food tastes horrible and is not enough to live on. It is not surprising that some prisoners here have a German nickname, Musselman. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means skeletal or skin and bones. So many people are too thin, and I am becoming one of them. At dinner time, we get a pot of soup to share among a dozen women. We are hungry every day. There's never enough to eat. An officer comes in the barracks and shouts, I need 300 women for selection for factory work. Many women hurry outside to be selected. Anything must be better than this place. Once they line up, everyone removes their clothes so the officers can examine their physique to decide if they are healthy and strong enough to do factory work. If a woman is too weak or thin, they label her as a Musselman and send her to the gas chamber. I don't know if it is because of food or illness, but I have a bad bout of diarrhea and I am very weak. I can't stand and walk for the first few weeks of my illness. Yutsky and Hayusara will not go outside to be selected without me, so we hide when the officers call for volunteers. It's not hard to hide with 1,000 people in the barracks, and they only need 200 or 300 women. The officers do not notice me. This works for the first 3 or 4 weeks, but I am just skin and bones now. I know I need to be selected for a factory to get out of here. Yutkin and Hayusara help me stand up and pinch my cheeks so I look like I have some color. The problem comes when I undress. I'm so frightened because I know I am too thin and weak to be chosen. My worst fears come true when the officers call me Musselman and send me to the gas chamber line. It is a torturous few minutes walking to that line. My sisters help me get there, holding me under my arms as we cry and panic. There is so much going on around us that I begin to wonder if we can somehow sneak away. I tell Yutkin Hayusara what I am thinking and we agree to try it. We have no other choice. At the agreed upon moment, we calmly step out of the line and head straight back to our barrack. All of our hearts are pumping wildly. If an SS officer notices, we'll be shot on the spot. Luckily, there are a lot of women moving about the camp, and no one notices. You have any idea what you weighed at this point?
I I have no idea.
But you're just skin and bones.
Even at home, I was very thin. Okay, I was not a big eater. This wasn't good, that wasn't good, when you're a child. So...
And the gas chamber line, you know exactly what that is.
Absolutely.
You know, when I get in this line, I'm going to be dead in 3 minutes or whatever the minutes is.
Right.
And they're just walking down the line. They look at you, too skinny, muscleman, go over there.
One over here, one over there, right. So they always put me in the gas chamber line, okay? And I would make sure nobody sees me. I would get out of the gas chamber line. If they would catch me, they would probably shoot me on the spot. Remember, we had close to over 28,000 people, women in that camp, okay? And they brought in over 500,000 Hungarian Jews to Auschwitz, April and May of 1944. And everybody that came into Auschwitz, we went into Camp C, okay, or the gas chambers. You had to have a lot of guts to survive, and also hope for a better day, okay?
And you are a risk taker.
Yes.
I mean, clearly, you're taking a risk by going out there, getting in line. You're taking a risk by getting out of line. You got a lot of bravery in these situations.
Yes. You had to. If you didn't, you're gone. The only people that survive are the ones that had braveries, really.
You say food is such a problem for all of us, but particularly for me since I am too thin. At lunch one day, we stand in line outside to get our bread as usual. The capo gives me a slice of bread, which I notice is half its usual size. I am hungry, so I speak without thinking. My bread is cut in half, I accuse her. The capo is furious with me because my accusation can get her in a lot of trouble with the Germans. She pulls me out of line and takes me to where the German SS officers will be sure to see her actions. She beats me so brutally that I cannot stand for 3 days afterwards. My sisters are both concerned and frustrated with me for getting into trouble. Yutki tells me, next time just shut up. Don't ever complain about anything again. It will only get you in trouble. Do you want to get shot? I know she's right, but I struggle at the injustice. We are already starving. How can they steal half my meager food? Still, I need to learn to keep my mouth shut.
Right.
How did you guys look at the capos?
I don't know if we even looked at them. All we knew is they were there, okay? And we didn't see them too often. The only time we saw them is when they came to select the people to go to factories to work.
Did you look at them as fellow Jews?
They were. Oh, you mean the capos?
The capos.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you were talking about the SS. Well, they had to do the work. Otherwise, they would get shot. If they don't do what they're asked to do, then they would not do the job. But when the capos, when they did get these jobs, they could get extra food. They could get extra all kinds of things. You know what I mean? They were in charge of 1,000 women in every barrack. So they had to be very strong and do the right thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't choose them to do it.
Was your view of the capos like, hey, they're just doing what they have to do to survive?
I don't know if we did when we were there, but now I know that they had to do what they were chosen to do. Mm-hmm. They had no choice. Okay. But they were our own people that did this work.
You go on here, today good fortune is upon us. One of the ladies in Barrack 26 tells us that we have cousins in Barrack 3. We are shocked, and all three of us begin asking questions in rapid succession. What are their names? How did you find them? Are you sure? How did you figure out we're related? In Barrack 3, my cousins are in charge of the whole barrack, including food distribution. They help get me extra food every day, and I begin to gain weight and think more clearly. It literally saves my life to have a little more food. I'm so thankful to be with them in this horrible place.
Yeah.
So there's another little thing that allows you to survive.
Right. It was amazing that we found out. I mean, so many thousands of women over there, and they were all the way in the beginning of the camp. number 2 or 3, I'm not really sure, okay?